Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. And I was kind of bored during this football game. Not because I didn't enjoy watching my football team, but this game went exactly the way I predicted. Exactly. It was so obvious to me how this game was going to go. So we're going to go into it and we're going to recap it. There really aren't many headlines, in my opinion, unless if you're just so shocked by what happened tonight. If you were one of the ones that believed that off the heels of Will Levis's incredible debut, that it was just going to continue and everything was going to be roses and everything was going to be great moving forward in the season and we were going to make the wild card and everything was going to be great. I don't know why you thought that. I don't know why. Look, it was a great victory against the Falcons on Sunday. But if you have any respect for your opponent, and look, I'm not saying you have to be a fan of the Steelers. God knows I'm not. But if you have any respect for your opponent to actually study them and see what type of team they are, it was obvious to me that this is going to be a one-possession game, but a game in which the Steelers' defense was going to be too much to overcome, and also our offensive line was just going to be too much to overcome. I just couldn't get past that. And the game went... it was 3 hours, but it went kind of quicker than I felt it was going to go because I think we only ended up having 3 punts. So it's not like our offense was bad. You look at the 16 points, yes, you want more points, and we had opportunities to get more points, but only punting 3 times. I think it was either 3 or 4. It should have only been 3, and then we had the turnover on downs and then the interception. It's not bad. And then the one turnover, both teams had about 340 yards. Just a going through the motions Thursday night defensive-ish game with a rookie quarterback and a sophomore quarterback, and that's what we got. So let's talk about our rookie quarterback, Will Levis. So first half was fantastic. He did a great job continuing what he had going on in the previous game against the Falcons. Was able to is my mic okay? Because I saw someone complaining about my mic. Is my mic having issues? Because I'm using a different mic right now until I'm able to use the mic that I normally use. Want to make sure I sound okay. I know it's not my usual quality. I'll be back to that as soon as I get an adapter for this. It sounds fine to me. Maybe a little low. I can increase it. But anyway, so he played really well in the first half. Like, you had to still feel almost as great as you did against the Falcons game. Like, the Falcons game was an A. You had to at least feel like he was at least playing a B+, A-. So, you were excited in the first half. He did almost everything perfectly except... So, in my opinion... So the Tyjae Spears, missed touchdown opportunity. I think that was more on Levis. Barely, though. I don't know why Tyjae Spears was completely turned around looking for the ball. He should be running more upfield, but I'm going to assume he's not that much of a moron. I'm just going to assume that, and that he was supposed to turn around and kind of sit a little bit instead of keep running. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and maybe Tyjae Spears was just supposed to keep running. My assumption is that he was supposed to turn around and kind of sit, and Levis should have put it more on him, and that would have been probably a touchdown, not him getting tackled at the 1 or 2 yard line or something like that. So that was unfortunate, but outside of that, he was great in the first half. Second half, still mostly good. The only thing that he has to now watch is, okay, great. So during last week's game, whenever you threw it up to DeAndre Hopkins and you did your thing there, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic stuff. It worked for that game. However, you can't keep doing it, okay? You can't keep forcing the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. That's where we're going to have some issues, because you saw the cornerbacks now start to creep up, start to anticipate these deep balls to DeAndre Hopkins. He only caught 4 catches today on 11 targets, and he didn't have a drop. So some of these were forces to DeAndre Hopkins. And I get it, sometimes, you might get a penalty, you might get a holding. I mean, he's really good at eliciting these holding calls. He's been fantastic at that. But be careful, because now they've watched the tape and they know you're going to throw it up to Hopkins. And also considering our wide receiver situation, which is now even worse, that's the only weapon that they're really afraid of. Now, we did get glimpses of life. Can you believe it? From Kyle Phillips. Wow, look at Kyle Phillips. Probably getting damn near his career in receiving yards tonight. He had 68 receiving yards. I know he had the one game last year against the Giants. He had 66 yards in that game, but he hasn't done much since. But Kyle Phillips showed up today. He did his thing. So continue to disperse the rock. Now, Treylon Burks. Considering the severity of this situation, I'm not going to clown on him today, okay? If it was another day, I'd troll on him. Today, I'm not going to do it because it was a scary sight. Do I have major concerns that this guy, considering the concussion that he had last year, considering the knee injury that he had this year, considering now this situation, which I think absolutely is another concussion and probably even worse, is this guy ever going to be right to play football at a high level? I don't know. Okay? That's not me counting on him. I'm just saying at this point, I don't know, dog. I don't know. Sometimes your body's telling you something. Okay? Sometimes your body is telling you something. And it was sad because he went up for it and he gave a great effort. I mean, look, that's what you want to do, right? You want him to give a great effort, and he put his career on the line, to try to make that catch, and maybe did. I mean, I don't think so, but I think he'll come back. I mean, but I just don't know if I don't know if he's all these injuries piling. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot with that he's been going through the first couple of years. I mean, it can damage anyone's psyche. So we'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, we did see signs of life from Chigo Okonkwo, but it was mostly in garbage time. It ended up accumulating 3 catches for 28 yards, but we can't keep continuing to talk about him as if he's some sort of weapon. Okay, he's a below average starting tight end. We need another tight end. Okay, now I still think we should prioritize tackle in the first round of the draft, although Brock Bowers is an absolute beast. I prefer to take a tackle right now. And speaking of the tackles, holy hell, did they continue to be bad. 4 sacks allowed on Will Levis today. Andre Dillard, I mean, my God, he gave up 2 sacks. Nicholas Purdue-Fair got hurt again. He struggled. And look, it's hard to defend TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, and even Marcus Golden's been getting involved a little bit. Landon Roberts comes down from the middle linebacker position and he gets involved. But, I mean, guys, can y'all figure it out? I mean, this was really bad. If the offensive line plays better, we win the game. If the offensive line plays better, we win the game. If we're able to dominate more offensively in the run game, especially particularly there, we win the game. But that did not happen now, did it? So that was unfortunate. So the offensive line continues to stink. And I want a left tackle in the first round next year. And I know that's boring, and I know no one wants to do that. But considering the prospects, considering our needs, it's what we need to do. Because they're probably going to cut Andre Dillard, honestly, for more cap space. So draft Joe Otto Olufashanu or J.C. Latham. I'm already there. We're not drafting quarterback. That discussion's over with. Wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. ain't falling there. And then the other ones, I like Romo Dunze or Dunze. I'd be interested, but I think left tackle is just a bigger need. I think you got to get the offensive line figured out first before. This is my personal opinion. Now, I'm someone that actually would have, maybe I'm wrong on this, and a lot of people argue that I am wrong on this. And probably I am wrong on this. I would have taken Penei Sewell over Jamar Chase. Now, the Bengals are fine. Okay, Jamar Chase has been great for them. And Joe Burrow hasn't been hurt much. Now, he has been hurt, but he hasn't been hurt much. And they went to a Super Bowl, and they could have won it. So, in that case, it worked out. Generally speaking, I like building your offensive line first, then getting your wide receivers. I think it's the safer bet. Although, again, the Jamar Chase situation did work out just fine. And Penei Sewell's good for the Lions, too, now. So it's not like Penei Sewell is struggling as a top 10 pick. No, he's playing very well. One of the reasons why the Lions are having the success that they're finally having. So those were my thoughts on that. But look, at least Derrick Henry, he looked good today. He didn't have a long run, almost broke one. 75 yards. If we have a lead in the fourth quarter, I think he would have broke over 100 and had another strong performance. But, he's on pace, let's see what it is. He's on pace this season for 1,277 yards and 7 touchdowns. It's pretty good. Now, is this going to be his last year in Tennessee? Probably. Which means he's probably not going to break 10,000 rushing yards with us because his career right now, this is including, I will go ahead and include today's game, it's about 8,936 yards. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Quick math. So he's not going to get another 1,100 yards for this franchise. I'd be very, very, very surprised if he's on the team next year, but he still was able to do his thing. And he got Tyjae Spears. Whenever he's in the league, he's able to do things at the receiving game. I still don't think he's a number one running back. I think you better get another number one running back or someone to compete with him. Do not make the same mistake, and to me it is a mistake, that the Dallas Cowboys are making with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is not a number one running back. Tony Pollard is not a bell cow running back. Now, if you want him to be a starter for you in 2023, he can and he'll do fine. But one of the reasons why their offense is taking a step back, now I don't think they should have re-signed Zeke because I think Zeke is done. But because they didn't get a good enough replacement for Zeke. They got like Deuce Vaughn and some other kids in there, but it's not good enough. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Cowboys offense could be a little inconsistent. So while I like Spears, and I think he shows nice bursts and things at times, do not fall in love with this idea that he is some bell cow, because he's not, okay? And he's not going to be. He's not, okay? I'm sorry. I apologize. He's not. So, continuing on from that, Chris Moore had a big catch in the later part of the game there, the final drive to help set us up in position. That was good. Nick Westbrook-Akina had a catch for his one target. Traylon Burks, before he got hurt, look, I asked after the first half, one, because I bet on a prop, it was Traylon Burks over 22.5, and by the way, he got 23, so I'm good. But I was like, are we going to use him? Because, look, while, again, he can't stay healthy, and I don't think he will, I don't know, and I don't know how this is going to affect his psyche and everything moving forward. Still, whenever you get him on those crossing routes, whenever you get him on some of these deep balls, he's one of our few playmakers. We don't have enough playmakers. We can't keep spamming Hopkins. Okay, we got away with it against the Falcons. We didn't get away with it much more today. We got, 60 yards. Teams are going to stop this. Okay, I'm warning you. You can't keep just spamming DeAndre Hopkins, because all you really have to do is just have your corner play press, have a safety over the top. It basically limits him. Now, he's able to do things over the middle, but that limits him over the top. Oh, and also when it comes to Levis. Okay, so now we know what his effort throw is. It's a throw up the sideline. Okay, bad play call, and I don't know what the entire progression was on that play call, because I assume it was Hopkins first on that 4th and 4 with 4 minutes left. Well, I guess it was with like 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. But it was on the drive that started with 4 minutes left. What the hell was that whole play series? So we get the ball at midfield after a nice Tyjae Spears return, and then we run, pass. What is that? No urgency. The game was completely winnable. Now, I still didn't think we were going to win it, because but at midfield, you have a damn good shot. I mean, my God, that was a brilliant shot that you had to drive down the half of the field and score a touchdown to win the game. And yet, run, pass, and then on the pass, Will Levis just throws it up to Burks. Okay, that is a very low percentage throw. Now, hell, we got beat by Derek Carr this season on a throw very similar to this. The wide receiver was obviously open. This was a situation where Burks was contested. He hadn't won the route. He didn't get a great release, so you're just throwing up a 50-50 ball. That's really all you're doing. And, while it's worked a couple of times, it's not going to continue to work. So, Levis, I need a couple of the more creative effort balls from you whenever your initial wide receiver isn't open. Because the sideline thing is cool, but you need a little bit more than that. Because I will watch the tape. I just can't believe he couldn't have waited and found something a little easier over the middle. But I won't blame him completely. I blame more on Tim Kelly for that drive because we should have at least thrown it on 3rd and 4. I don't know why we didn't throw it on 3rd and 4, if not second. And just get some easy passes over the middle, get some dump downs to Tajay Spears or Chigga and keep the chains moving. There was no reason why we couldn't get at least one first down on that critical drive to win the game. So I don't know what was going on with that. So I won't blame Will Levis too much for that, but I do want to see another type of throw that he can make there. The one also criticism, this is the end of the game. He was just trying to throw the ball in a position to hopefully throw a game-winning touchdown. Okay, yeah, the last throw wasn't great. He thought he was being clever. Okay, you gonna learn quick. Okay, these linebackers are not, first of all, it's not even a look off because the looking off was him looking far left sideline, then coming back to Josh Wiley over right middle. That's not a look off. The linebacker's still going to sink into that coverage and cover Josh Wiley. There was 0% chance of that getting completed. I don't mind it too much because it's just doing something to try to win the game. And it's very improbable. But at the 19-yard line, you still have, I'd give you a 5% chance. But that throw, you have a 0% chance. We could have got a better throw than that. We could have got some better decisions and some better play calling late there to actually give us a chance to win the game because the game was still winnable there. The game is still winnable right there. And, he threw it away, and he could have got picked on a throw more previous to that Chico Conco. And again, that one wasn't close, actually. I know it might have seemed close to the rock. Now, the safety had that all along, playing center field. Will Levis, I like that you're trying to look off some of these DBs and these linebackers. There's a time and a place for that. But more so than not, they're adept to what you're doing. So just watch it next time. Again, the game was really in dire straits, and we probably weren't going to win. But there was still a chance. I don't think, now this is a terrible comparison. I'm not comparing him to the standards of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have done that. Patrick Mahomes would have given his chance more of a team to win. So, and he doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes today. He can work his way up to that, okay? I'm just saying those last couple throws could have been better. But he did get us at least down that far, which I did like. So overall, if I had to grade Levis today, I'm going to give him a B+. I think I have to settle on B. The first half was an A-, and then the second half there just really wasn't too much more of anything. So it's like a B+. For a rookie scale, it's a B+. Yeah, rookie scale, it's a B+. Objective scale, it's a B. So Tanel, but it's an L that I expected. So finally, I'm picking Titans games correctly. Geez, it only took 7 weeks. Actually, it only took 6. Yeah, the first 6 weeks I was 0 for 6. Man, I should have picked us to win that Colts game. I'm an idiot. But anyway, yeah, but I've gotten the last 3 right. Ravens, I knew lost. Falcons, I knew win. Steelers, I knew lost. So I'm getting better when it comes to my perception of this team. So I'm now 3-5, just as the Titans are 3-5 when it comes to my picks of them. We have 10 days off. Then we go to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. This is a game where, let me see, is this line currently out? It's not. I anticipate we will be underdogs, but barely. I anticipate I will pick us to win this game. However, I do want to see how the Bucs look. They look better against the Bills, and I want to see how they look against the Texans. Because they might be getting desperate or they might be tanking soon. I don't know which one. Because they still might have some fight with Baker Mayfield and everything, or they may just throw in the tanks. I'm not sure which route they're going to go yet, but it's like a 50-50 game. I like our chances, though. I feel like I'm going to pick us win that game. Then we go to Jacksonville. It's a 50-50 divisional game. We're going to split with them this year. I think this is the one we'll lose. Then we host the Panthers. I think that's a win. And then we host the Colts, and I think that's a win. So I would not be too discouraged from this loss here. I think, the important thing, I know some people are holding on for playoff hopes. I mean, it's still possible. I don't know why you really want to make the playoffs this year, other than just to help the confidence of Levis and just to be fun and a fun story, which I get. I get that. And look, right now, if I had to look at the playoff standings, I mean, I'm pretty confident. Well, now we have a loss against the Steelers, which is going to be critical when it comes to a tiebreaker because they're going to be about 9-8, 10-7, right there in that mix. So yeah, you have Dolphins, Bills. One of them will lose and make the playoffs. You have Ravens, Steelers. One of them will lose and make the playoffs, and maybe even the Browns and Bengals too. Jaguars win the division. AFC West, Chiefs, Chargers are coming back. We'll see if they can come back all the way. I mean, 9-8 could get you in. So for us, that would mean 6-3 for the rest of the way. When I do look at our schedule, there's only 2 games that I absolutely am 100% confident that we will lose. Okay, one of them was tonight, and we only lost by 4. The other ones are against the Seahawks and against the Dolphins. I'm also very confident that we will split against the Jaguars and the Texans. Those are 4 losses are right there. So I'm not holding my breath. I know some of you might be. It's fine. My thing is I want to see signs of life out of this team, and I don't mind taking for a better pick. We don't have to completely I'm not saying we have to lose out, because I want Levis to have some wins. I want to have some fun wins. I want to develop his confidence. But if we go 6-11, which I think is very likely, and damn it, I had in my schedule release prediction, but for some reason I backed off of that last March. No, I'm never doing that again. Then I'd be happy. I'd be happy with 6-11 and a top 10 pick, and then next year drafting a left tackle, and then also drafting a wide receiver, and then getting this ball rolling again. I'm down. So I really am not going to be too mad or sad after any Titans loss for the rest of this year, unless if Will Levis gets hurt. Then everything went to hell, and I'm upset. And we were gonna have big problems here if that were to happen. I don't anticipate that happening. However, with how this offense played today, and the offensive line specifically, yeah, we're going to need to protect him better than what we did today, because while none of the hits were particularly harsh, none of them were particularly, scary or anything like that, it could mount up really quickly, and we don't need to ruin another quarterback as we did Marcus Mariota. So I'm going to go to the chat, answer some super chats, some comments, and then we will get out of here. I definitely saw a super chat that I want to get to, and this comes from Sportacular, who says the following. He says, thought Levis played well, horrible O-line. And I agree. I thought he played well, again, particularly in the first half, which is funny because that's when the offensive line was worse. In the second half, it's actually playing better. It wasn't playing well, but it was playing slightly better. So it's very strange that was the case, but that was the case. So, yeah, I agree, and thank you for the super chat. Sportacular. All right, let's see. Any other comments that I want to get to? Patrick Steckman says, I got you, MJ. Burks played poorly before the injury. The Titans need to consider moving on and just rebuild the wide receiver core around Hopkins as the number 1 or 2. Okay. While DeAndre Hopkins is playing very well, and I'd be fine with him starting out next year as the number 1. I don't want him to be the number 1 throughout the entire next year. I would much rather we get a young wide receiver in here that by the middle of next year, we all are like, okay, we have our wide receiver of the future. Because, and again, Hopkins has been great, and he's going to break 1,100 yards, and he's been great. Next year, it's going to be less. Okay? And he's just going to continue to get up there. And again, he's been much better than I thought. I will say I've been wrong on that. I did not think he was going to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver for us, and he is a 1,000-yard wide receiver for us. But I want another wide receiver. Okay? I definitely do, man. I definitely do. Whether that be T. Higgins or someone in the draft, like Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze. There's some talented names out there for sure. And you can get talented wide receivers in the second round. We know that also well with A.J. Brown. Yeah, you can get very talented wide receivers in the second round. Even in the fourth round, if you take Amon-Ra St. Brown over Dez Fitzpatrick, which our boy John Robinson failed to do. All right. Mike J says it never fails. Like we always lose at Pittsburgh. No Big Ben anymore. We lose to Trash Pickett, SMH. And by the way, yeah, Kenny Pickett Okay, I never really defended this guy. Okay, I'm out on this guy. This guy stinks. He okay. Will Levis is better than him, and guys, I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close. Okay, so we already have a better quarterback than the Steelers. My goodness, this guy missed that little dump off to, or the little crossing route to George Pickens, who, by the way, I can't believe he didn't get his foot down on what should have been that touchdown in the end zone. What the hell was he doing? How can you not get your foot down there? How can you not drag your toe there? So that was just a weird sequence in general. I don't know what was going on with Pickens and Pickett. And Pickens is at least talented, but he's inconsistent. And I think he was mailing it in today. That's what I really believe, because I don't know why they were targeting Deontay Johnson more than him. They weren't just using him as a complete like decoy. He should have had that touchdown. Ridiculous that he didn't drag that toe. I couldn't believe it. I saw it whenever it happened live. I was like, wow, he's out of bounds. I couldn't believe he didn't get the other foot down. Incredible. He's inconsistent. And look, Pickett stinks. Good luck, guys. I mean, he's better than like Desmond Ritter, but I feel much more comfortable with Will Levis than I would if I'm a Steeler fan with Kenny Pickett. I don't see it, man. I've seen sometimes him showing the occasional flash, but today he just looks, and they just look they're babying him. He did lead the game-winning drive, and the run game was better for them, but I don't know. I just think that, yeah, I just don't have faith in him. I think he'll start out for the rest of this year and into next year, but I just wouldn't have faith in him long term. All right, let's see. We'll answer a couple more. Some people saying that Tannehill would have probably just not even thrown the ball there and taken a sack, and that's actually not totally inaccurate. I actually would agree. Jamal writes as our sports fan entertainment. Will Levis gave us the best chance to win today. The focus should be on wide receiver in the draft. Not sure what fans will look like after the season. The big name is T. Higgins. And you also have some other names, but that's like the one that's you're like, okay, this is a definitive wide receiver one. The only question I have, okay, he hasn't been playing great this year. So, off the heels of a not great year, do you give him what will likely be 25, 26, 27 million dollars a year? You know, because we have money, sure. I would have much rather given that to AJ Brown, but again, we have money. So, as Mr. Krabs would say, money. So, since you have money, you might as well. But I don't know if he's gonna live as up to his contract as Tyreek as Devontae Adams did before this Raiders debacle this year, as AJ Brown has. Like those three have absolutely lived to their contract. I don't know if you're gonna get that production out of T Higgins. I think he's gonna be 1,000-yard wide receiver. I don't know if you're gonna get that production out of T Higgins. And then some other names. We have Mike Evans, who my only problem is, okay, he's over 30 now. So how many years does he have? If he's still playing well this year, over 500 yards, he's gonna break 1,000 yards again. But yeah, Curtis Samuel, who's good. He's not going to change your locker room by any means. And then Tyler Boyd, who's also good, but he's not as good as T. Higgins. So, Hollywood Brown, actually. I'd like Hollywood Brown. I don't know if he wants to play with DeAndre Hopkins again, but I'd like Hollywood Brown. He's been misused and underutilized for Arizona. Also, Michael Pittman Jr., who still has a lot of potential left, and he could definitely still end up being a number one wide receiver. In fact, I think he is. I'm surprised they didn't re-sign him already. That's shocking to me. Wow. They can't let him hit the market. It's crazy if they do. So there's options. The one position where there is not is tackle. So here are your best tackles in next year's free agency. We have Tyron Smith, who, I mean, he's 32.8 at this point. He has years left. I don't know if I'd be fine with that. I'm not going to complain if we get Tyron Smith. Yeah, that's not too old. And then you have Trent Brown, Jonah Williams, yikes. Donovan Smith, George Fant, Isaiah Wilson. Oh, he's still a free agent. I don't even know why I mentioned his name. I just read it. It's just funny. And those are the big names. So you feel much better about the wide receivers next year than you do the tackles. So that's something that you absolutely have to consider when you're going into next year and next year's free agency. So that's something that I'm already considering because you guys know me, I'm always looking ahead. I can't help myself. I always have to look ahead. Um, oh, did I get white screened? Oh, I got white screened. Okay, that means that my camera died. I'll switch over. I knew I should have charged it before this video. Sorry, I did an hour and a half podcast today, so I didn't have much juice left. All right, let's bring it back. Bring it back, bring it back. All right, there we go. All right, so a couple more, and then we will get out of here. We have a super chat from O'Reilly Fitzgerald. And it's his first super chat on a live stream, so thank you for that. Didn't say anything for the super chat, but he did say something right before. He says, GGMJ, been watching you for years, even though I'm not a Titans fan. You made them my second favorite team ever since the James Carter TV days. Hope you're doing well, bro. Wow, well, I'm happy to have gotten you to have a second favorite team, and I'm happy that you chose the Titans, although I have to apologize that we can disappoint, particularly lately, but we just got to get through it, this little stint that we're going through. All right. Let's see. Jack Longley says if we actually had an average line, Levis would be able to win this type of game consistently. You know what? I mostly agree. Like if the offensive line plays better, I think we win today. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, in the first half, they just weren't able to do their thing. And it was just one of those, again, like weird Thursday night games that just kind of like dragged. Again, we only had 3 punts. It's not like our offense was awful. But then by the end, you needed to make a drive to win the game, and we just couldn't do that and didn't have faith in the offensive line, and the play calling late just faded out, and we lost the game. But look, we're on the road in Pittsburgh against what I believe will be a playoff team, at the very least a playoff contender. And Mike Tomlin, and it's a tough matchup, which is why. And look, again, historically, I know we don't play well against the Steelers, particularly in Pittsburgh. So with a rookie Levis, there was no way I was going to pick us to win this game. It's just I've seen this story. I've seen it time and time again, and I just can't continue to see it and continue to predict the same thing. But I was actually fine with today. There's nothing that I hated. I hope Traylon Burks is okay, and I hope we're able to rest over the next 10 days and then be able to show it against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there you go. That's going to do it for me. Tennessee Titans fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-20. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. I'm out. See you all later.